My name is Eslin. Today I actually want to talk to you guys about my PCOS journey. But before I start, I would just like to ask you guys if you can please subscribe, give me a thumbs up, and also if you want to share any of your tips and advice, please comment below. I'd love to hear it. So let me bring you guys back a little bit to when I was about, well, first of all, I got my period really young. I got it when I was 10. And it was irregular all the way until I was 18, which is when I got on birth control. Now, the doctors would just tell me like, oh, you know, maybe it's because you're underweight, because I was really skinny. I was in early high school, I was like 98 pounds for a long time, and then maybe like senior year, I was 100 pounds. Throughout college, I was like 110, so I was always really, really skinny. And, you know, I always had issues with my period. It was never regular. I never knew when it was coming. And it was just so weird because, you know, I would hear my friends and they'll be like, oh yeah, you know, I'm getting my period in 2 days. And I would just look at them and I'm like, how do you know when you're getting a period? Because I have no clue. I can't sit here and pinpoint when I'm getting it. It's like a guessing game. It's like, surprise, I'm here. So it was just always weird to me how like my girlfriends all knew when they would get their periods, or like, you know, their periods were coming like clockwork, and mine was just MIA for, you know, a month, 2 months. So anyways, so when I was 18, I got on birth control, and of course that regulated my period, because what birth control does is that it forces a period. So it forces these hormones and all these things, and that's when you get your period. So I was fine for, you know, the 2 years that I took it, and I didn't think of anything, like, but as soon as I got off, my period was irregular again. It was just a personal choice, and I was just like, I'm not gonna take any birth control. My period continued to be irregular, and fast forward to like I was about 28, you know, and I would always go to the GYN, and they would just probably be like, oh, you know, you're probably either underweight, or like, it was never really like an answer. And they would always try to put me on birth control, and I would just be like, no, I don't want to take anything. Like, so when I was 28, what was really weird was that I started gaining weight. I started gaining rapid weight, and I could not, for the life of me, keep it off. And I was gaining all this weight, and I was like, you know what, okay, that's it. Like, I'm gonna eat good, I'm gonna exercise, like, I'm sick of this. At this point, I had gained 40 pounds. And so I started doing all these things that I'm supposed to be doing to maintain a healthy life and, you know, take some weight off. It wasn't working. Like, nothing was working. And instead of losing weight, I was gaining a few more pounds, and I would weigh myself and I would have gained another 3 pounds, or I wouldn't gain anything at all. I would just kind of like just stay there. And I'm like, what is going on? Like, I'm eating so good. It's been a month, whatever. I should have at least lost 5 pounds, you know, at this point. And nothing worked. So I went to my GYN, and I'm like, look, I don't know what's going on. Like, I can't take this weight off. I'm doing everything I think I'm supposed to be doing. And she's like, well, let's test your hormone panel, and let's see how your hormones are. And she's like, I think you may have PCOS. Now that was it was like a foreign language. I have no idea what she had just told me. So I was like, excuse me? And she was just like, well, let's just see how your numbers come back. You may have a hormonal imbalance. And I was like, okay. Still no clue what she was talking about. So she tested my testosterone, estrogen, thyroid, progesterone, prolactin, and I think that's pretty much it with the hormone panel. Well, everything came back normal. My sugar levels came back normal. My thyroid was normal. My estrogen was normal, but my testosterone was really high. So she was like, you have PCOS. So I had no clue what she was, again, talking about. So I left her so confused, so lost. She's like, you know, you should really try, you should really get on birth control pills. And I was like, well, is that, like, what's the cure? She's like, that there's no cure. But birth control helps with the symptoms. And I'm like, well, okay, but what happens when I want to get pregnant? So I left that office, that appointment, so confused. I went home and I did so much research. The first thing that came out that just shot out at me was, this is the #1 cause of infertility. That's all I kept reading. And I was devastated. I was so sad and so lost. I did so much research and I just still felt so lost. And I was like, how can this be? Like, you know, all this time, nobody ever gave me an answer. And now all of a sudden I have this hormone imbalance and there's no cure for it. Like, you gotta be kidding me. Like, so I was, like, I went through every emotion possible. I was upset, I was sad, then I got depressed. And then here I am with all this weight that I had gained. You know, just weight that I wasn't used to. I wasn't, like, overweight or anything, but 40 pounds is still a big deal for someone to just gain overnight. And then, you know, I'm doing all these things and nothing was putting it off. Like, it was just a really, really depressing time. And I'm sure a lot of you guys can relate. Then I started doing more juices and more natural things. And that helps me out a lot, actually. And then I started doing some research and I read up on a lot of herbs that to take, teas, and different things like that. And then I started losing some weight. So then I lost maybe like 10 pounds here and there, like, you know, but I didn't get really serious into my diet. Wasn't until I decided that we were gonna get pregnant. And then I did, like, you know, I really focused on my diet, you know, adding some exercise in there. And that's when I was like, I really educated myself on PCOS and, you know, different ways to manage it, because obviously we know it's not curable. When we decided to start trying, I wanted to prep my body and my eggs for 3 months prior to us trying to conceive. So I ate great. I did a lot of, like, everything, you know, everything the way I'm supposed to do it. Healthy lifestyle, no toxins. I changed all my makeup products. I drank a lot of water. I did some exercise. I, you know, ate a lot of greens and herbs. Like, you know, I was taking, like, all these pills and, like, herb stuff. So, you know, I was doing everything I was supposed to, and I felt great. I was losing weight too. I did manage to lose weight, and I did lower my numbers and my symptoms of PCOS. And it was kind of like, it was kind of like, oh, so something does work. So you're telling me that all these things that I tried and I did works better than birth control pills? Why didn't nobody tell me? Why did I have to just figure this out on my own? I was for so long, I was so lost and I was so confused and depressed and going through all these emotions, and I felt completely by myself and lonely, because it's not like I can talk to anybody about it. Nobody knew. My friends don't deal with this. You know, it's not like I had a buddy that was dealing with the same symptoms and problems I was. I was completely alone with nobody to give me any answers. So my only choice is, take birth control. But I want to get pregnant. So what do I do? If I can't take birth control if I want to get pregnant, so it's kind of like, it doesn't make sense. But I figured this out just by myself, just trying different things, and it worked. I got pregnant on my very first try without any help from a doctor or anyone, and no one was able to tell me, like, hey, do this, and this. and you'll be fine. I figured out by myself, and it was a very lonely and long process, but you know what? I am very grateful for it because it made me who I am now, and I'm a lot more healthier. I make better choices when it comes to food. Um, if I didn't have this problem, why would I care? I would continue to eat bad like I used to. Um, it made me stronger, it made me wiser, it made me understand my body and what my body's going through every single month. Um, it just made me smarter, and it made me who I am today. And I honestly, like, even though the situation sucks and I have to deal with a lot of symptoms, I'm very grateful at the same time because I wouldn't have the knowledge that I have today. I wouldn't be able to sit here and share my story with you guys. And maybe hopefully one day I can at least help one person that's dealing with the same thing I'm dealing with. So I wouldn't be able to do that if I didn't go through these difficult times. So I feel like I had to go through all this to eventually either help others or, just even to help myself. And, in a weird way, I'm grateful for the struggles because that is what makes you who you are. I am at a place now that I am comfortable with myself. I'm comfortable in my skin. I don't deal with as many symptoms as I used to. I still struggle a little bit with like hair here and there, but it's nowhere near what it used to be. I've managed to maintain my weight. I've lost a lot of it, and I've been maintaining it. My periods are still not considered normal, but they are more regular than what they used to be. I don't go through the 80 days no period wondering if it's gonna come or not. Sometimes it'll go 40 days. That's like the most it'll go now. But for the most part, I've been managing 35-day cycles. Last month it was 32 days, which is normal. Last 2 months it's been 32 days, and I've been managing really, really well, and I'm proud of myself. Like I said, I did a lot of research, and for a long time I was just like this lost little puppy, and now I'm doing certain things different and learning from this experience. And even though, like I said, it is not easy, and if you don't struggle with this, you don't understand it. You feel lost. You really feel lost. And now I'm just kind of like, you're not gonna kick my ass. I'm not gonna be a victim. I'm stronger than this. I'm not gonna sit here and be depressed and sad and sob all day long because life has dealt me this hand, and unfortunately, like, I don't wish this on anyone, but at the same time, I'm gonna be better, and I'm gonna be stronger, and I'm gonna make sure that I'm not a victim, and that I can come out stronger than what I was before, than what I was yesterday. And even though tomorrow I might be sad again, because it happens, but eventually I will be okay. And I know that even though I have PCOS, I can fight this. I'm stronger than PCOS. So that's my PCOS story, and I hope you guys feel comfortable and okay with sharing yours. Please comment below and let me know. If you have PCOS, I would love to hear from you. Any tips, again, that you guys have, I would love to hear that. We do have a lot of similar symptoms and stuff, so I'm sure you guys can share some of yours. I know every story is different, so I would love to hear from you guys. I would learn so much from you guys if you guys can comment and like below, as well as subscribe. I'm here to share more stories with you guys coming up, and this is just my PCOS story that I wanted to share with you guys. See you soon.